Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this AFC South show here on Curtis Podcast Network, episode 183. We're looking at Week 16 preview for the entire AFC South. We got the Colts and the Titans playing each other this week. Unfortunately, we don't have a Colts or a Titans person here tonight to talk about that game, so we're just going to briefly touch on it, explain why the Colts are going to win, and then go on with our lives. With me, as always, my resident Jaguars fan, Isaiah, a.k.a. Duval's Finest, a.k.a. the Glitter Kitty Conquistador, a.k.a. soon-to-be mayor of Duval County, host of Third and Teal. Isaiah, how you doing this evening?
Lord, I am well. How are you?
I'm all right. Just got off work. Going to get off later. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find me at Curtis PD Network on X. PD, not P Diddy. I'm also the host of That Real Texas Team podcast. Go like, subscribe, notification bell over there. Do the same thing on Third and Teal, Titans Takeaways, and Unstabled, the entire family of the CPN network. And while you're at it, do the same thing here. We're at 540. Like to see that number keep climbing. And you, the viewer, are a big part of that. So please pump the numbers. First, let's talk about injuries. Isaiah, how are the Jags faring walking into this Las Vegas matchup?
We really didn't have too many injuries in that game of note. Still the same backups and everybody. They are benching Ronald Darby though. No injury that I'm aware of that is involved in that. But it will be nice to it'll be nice to have that going on.
Okay. Hell yeah. I know you've been wanting Darby to be seeing the pine for a long time.
Absolutely.
Holy freaking Christ. The Titans injury report is astronomical. There's like 1,000 names on this damn thing.
That's normal.
So let's see. They've only ruled 2 people out: Colton Dowell and Luke Gifford. Jalen Duncan, Will Levis, Tony Pollard, Otis Reese, Kenneth Murray, and Nick Folk are all officially listed as questionable. Will Levis, of course, was benched earlier this week in favor of what's his name? Will Rudolph and Mason Rudolph. Well, who the hell's Will Rudolph? Is that a real person?
Will Levis and Mason Rudolph together.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Mason Rudolph is going to be the starter this week as the Titans travel up to Indianapolis. For the Colts, injuries, Mo Cox is listed as questionable. Juju Brents is questionable. DeForest Buckner says unspecified, but it looks like he didn't practice Friday at all. So that's kind of weird. I don't know what that means. Never seen that before on an injury report. Jalen Carlisle's questionable. Old Doolin questionable. Matt Gay questionable. Zaire Franklin, again, unspecified. Taekwon Lewis, Latu, Michael Pittman, also unspecified. Ryan Kelly, questionable. Alec Pierce is out. EJ Speed is out. Grover Stewart, unspecified. What the hell does that mean? I guess is that no designation? Is that what that means?
I don't know.
It's not like they have a legend underneath, and that unspecified is not even a. It's not even a thing. Leave it to the Titans app. Anyway. And of course, for the Texans, we've got some injuries. Fotokasi, Juice Scruggs, Mechie, and Cade Stover are no-goes this week. Christian Harris, who made his return last week, tweaked his ankle yesterday or today in practice and did not participate. So he's questionable. But let me pull up the actual thing and we'll see what Kansas City's working with here. Bow. Okay, never mind. Hold on. Can you fluff for a second while I'm...
Welcome to this AFC South show. My name's Isaiah, host of Third and Teal, and that real Texas team, and that real Titans team, and the Colts one.
And the Colts one.
Yeah, fuck the Colts. Yeah. Oh, we're live. Oh, I didn't even realize. Or no, we're recording.
No,
I'm fluffing right now. It says live in the up here. Nope.
I know.
There. Yes. Somewhere. Go Jags. Fuck the Colts. It was never the Titans. I have a drink. It's a Snowberry Peace Tea. Not sponsoring, just saying. I have a drink. What are you looking for?
Found the injury report finally. I had to go to a different Chiefs.com to figure it out. But
back to you, Curtis.
Thank you. The only players out for the Chiefs this week: Kamari Connor, he's a defensive back, and DJ Humphries, who's the off the street left tackle that they brought in to help. So he will be out this week. However, Hollywood Brown is making his Chiefs debut this weekend. So that's something to watch. Creed Humphrey will be playing. He was on the injury report, but looks like he is full go. But with no left tackle, that means that Joe Tooney will be playing left tackle for them. And then they'll bring in their backup left guard to start at left guard. That could be something to exploit. Although last week with that exact same lineup, they didn't allow any sacks. So, on 40 pass attempts. So maybe not. But Texans defense is number 2 in the league in sacks this year. They're also number 2 in the league in interceptions. And that's something that Mahomes is definitely on an uptick with this year. So,
well, you see, whenever Patrick Mahomes is in the pocket, he just, I don't know. That's some good looking interceptions there, Jim. That's all I can say. I don't know.
What's not to love about Patrick Mahomes? Stupid Chris Collinsworth. I can't do his accent, but you get it. Fucking Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be hard to play the NFL this week. The actual entity, not like the players. The NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Texans this week. It's going to be interesting.
Well, hopefully he leaves his pet zebras at home and some other zebras come to play.
Yeah, well, I'm not holding my breath. It's in Kansas City. Let's start with the Titans-Colts game. 42.5 point over-under. And the Colts are a 3.5 point favorite. Anthony Richardson is making his, I believe, second start against the Titans in his short NFL career. And the first one didn't go so well for him. If everybody remembers, that was the game he got hurt last year with the AC joint sprain because he thought he could outrun Harold Landry. And then Harold Landry was like, nah, bro, I got you. And then just threw him down. So good times. The Colts are getting healthier, though. Josh Downs will be back, and he ate the Titans alive last game. And he's been doing well as of late when he's been available. He's been a focal point of the offense. He's been very open. Josh Downs is basically what Tank Dell was last year. I don't see a way for Mason Rudolph and the Titans to actually get past the Indianapolis Colts this weekend. I've seen crazier things happen, but Anthony Richardson's going to have to full-blown Anthony Richardson this game for the Titans to win.
They beat the Texans, so it's not impossible.
Yeah, but the Texans beat the Texans, and the Titans were just beneficiaries of that.
I mean, the Colts have been beating the Colts a lot this year too. Let's not take away credit where credit's due.
True, but usually when the Colts are beating themselves, it's against superior opponents.
They lost to the Jaguars.
I don't think they beat themselves in that game. I think the Jaguars beat the Colts.
Oh no, they absolutely beat themselves in that game. They decided to actually get on the plane when it was in Jacksonville. That's how they beat themselves.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, Jim Irsay still wants to beat the Titans first and foremost in this division for some reason. Maybe it's because Titans fans are a little obnoxious. I don't know. I've heard that we have them on the show from time to time. That might be just a rumor, though. They're usually pretty mild mannered, I think, but guess not to Colts fans, and not to old drunky drunk rehab boy Jim Irsay. Anyway, score prediction for the Titans and the Colts. I assume we're both going Indianapolis.
Titans.
Oh, shit.
17-13.
Oh, and just a sloppy, ugly game.
A slop fest.
Oh, God bless. That's supremely under. I'm gonna go Indianapolis. 23, Tennessee 17, which is also under. All right, and that just leaves us with the other two non-divisional games. And I'm sure if you are a Titans or a Colts fan, Titans Takeaways and or the Unstabled podcast would be a great place to get a preview of both of those games. But at this moment, Isaiah, let's talk about Jags Raiders. The battle begins for the first overall draft pick.
I don't think we're going to get the first overall draft pick, no matter how many more games we lose, because the New York Jets, our Giants, are squarely in front of us, and we are not, like, we have a way easier back end than they do. Like, yeah. So I don't know, because they play the Eagles.
I forgot the Giants were ahead of the Raiders.
Yeah. So
Okay, so you're fighting for two.
I think draft position is Raiders, Giants, Jags are at 4. Who's in front of us?
Is it the Titans?
Patriots, then us, then the Panthers, then the Titans.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. It'd be hilarious though if we swept the Titans and still picked in front of them.
That would be fucking hilarious.
That would be so funny, and it's a real possibility because we still have to play the Colts again in Indianapolis. We have to play the Raiders. I mean, we're probably going to beat the Raiders. I think we're going to beat the Raiders. I mean, they're terrible. Their only saving grace is Brock Bowers. Max Crosby is not playing in this game. Quarterback is, I think, Aiden O'Connell starting this game. Like, it's just not looking like a good game. We really just kind of talked about how terrible our front office is and draft stuff, the whole thing. Like, we really didn't talk about the Raiders too much. I don't see any way that we lose this game. Besides, Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke still being here, but it's going to be a tough one to lose, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we'll see. I don't think that.
So what do you think about the Raiders being a 2-point favorite?
I think it's stupid. I mean, if they still had Max Crosby, I could see them beating us. I don't see them beating us without Max Crosby, though. Their defense is not good enough overall to take care of us. Their pass rush is not going to be as good. And Mac Jones, I feel like our offensive line's actually been playing pretty good down the stretch. I think Mac Jones is going to have a lot of time to sit back there and throw the football. And, I mean, if he does just literally what he did this past week, he can just throw little underneath routes to Brian Thomas Jr., and he'll take it for 20, 30 yards a pop. Good. I think BTJ has another 100-plus yard game this game.
I could see that. You're right. I mean, this Raiders team is not very good. This is a team that put a lot of their chips in on the fact that Gardner Minshew was going to be their quarterback.
Even when he was playing, he was not good.
No, but you know what they did? They beat the Ravens with Gardner Minshew. Not to say that that means a lick of anything now, because realistically, I'm with you. I mean, this Raiders team is about as inept as you get right now. The Patriots at least have signs of life in them. The Raiders, not so much. And it seems like every day their players are dropping like flies. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys win this game by double digits.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, this is like if you guys were in the middle of a playoff push and this was the like you guys had the Raiders, I'd be like, well, fuck. Like,
I
here's an
think
easy job.
if we had like a healthy Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Gabe Davis, Trevor Lawrence, like everybody, I mean, I don't think there's any. I think we're probably favored by 9, at least. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
with what we have out there, I can understand it. But I think that like Mac Jones and the boys are getting more and more comfortable with each other, and the offensive lines continue to play well. And without Max Crosby, their biggest threat, I don't think they're going to be able to stop us from scoring, even with a dysfunctional play caller.
Okay. Let me ask you this. This is kind of a fantasy question, but it does pertain to your Jags. Who would you start? Tucker Kraft, K. Dotton, or Brenton Strange? Brendan Strange?
Brenton Strange.
Okay.
I'd start Brenton Strange.
He is projected the most points out of all of those guys this week, mostly because K. Dotton is listed as doubtful at the moment. But with Evan Ingram being out, I know the quarterbacks in Jacksonville have been targeting Evan Ingram a lot, and I know those targets have got to go somewhere. And I know that even when Evan was in the game, Brenton would sometimes find his way onto the field as well and catch some passes. So, what do you have in your mind as like a possible stat line for him this game?
I could easily see I could see like I'd say 7 to 10 catches, maybe like 60 to 80 yards and a touchdown.
Hell yeah,
If
definitely.
not more. But I mean, I think that's probably what we'd be looking at because they love to just throw him the ball a lot.
Yeah, I was wondering when y'all drafted him, and you already had Evan Ingram in the room, and you had some other dudes, Luke Farrell, who's not necessarily like instilling fear into defenses, but he's shown capability at times. Um, you guys have a pretty damn solid tight end room, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, people really don't talk about the fact that I think Luke Farrell is one of our more underrated players on the roster. I mean, during our game with the Texans and some other good teams with solid pass rushers. I mean, like he went 1-on-1 with Myles Garrett. He went 1-on-1 with Daniil Hunter. He went 1-on-1 with, the other guy you guys have, Will Anderson, and he did not falter. He actually stood those guys up. He blocked them really well. He's one of our best blockers on the team, and when he gets the ball in his hand, he's pretty consistent with it. So I think that from top to bottom, our tight end room is just very solid. Definitely hurts not having Evan Ingram, but I think Brenton Strange has showed us when he's gotten those opportunities that he is a very solid tight end that can take over and be the number one guy. But yeah, I agree. Our tight end room is very solid for what we have. We just don't use them that much, even though we brought in the guy that literally uses his tight ends to win Super Bowls. So maybe that's why we're not winning Super Bowls, because we never use our fucking tight end unless it's Evan Ingram, and we throw it to him 15 times for 2 yards a pop.
Yeah, God, that's so annoying for fantasy purposes. All right, well, look, let's get a preview or a prediction here then. Over unders 40.5. Raiders are favored by 2. What do you think the score looks like?
I think we'll go 28-17 Jaguars.
Okay. I'm going to go 24-10 Jacksonville. Because at times, y'all's defense has been able to shut down some of the better offenses in the league with players out. So, I mean, there's no reason to think that y'all couldn't shut down the Raiders offense, who's got fucking Jacoby Myers and What's his nuts? Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely possible.
Oh yeah. Good old what's his nuts.
Good old what's his nuts. All pro what's his nuts.
Twist his dick.
Let's pivot to Houston traveling to Kansas City and what should be a pretty defensive game, if you're asking me. Two pretty good defenses. Offenses are honestly about on par. We're the 15th, or they're the 15th rated scoring offense. We're the 16th. Yards per game, we're like 13 and 14. So offenses are very similar. On that Real Texas Team podcast, we talked about how Pat Mahomes and CJ Stroud are actually having similar seasons. The difference being that sometimes Patrick Mahomes gets those 3-4 touchdown games, and that's really the separation. I think he's got 23 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, whereas Stroud's got 17 for 9. That's really been the big difference. Ways to win this game is pretty complicated because the Chiefs defense cannot be understated enough. Like, this is a damn good unit. They're coached well, fundamentally sound. They swarm to the football. They make plays on the ball. They're not super great when it comes to pressuring quarterbacks. They did get 4 sacks last week. 5 sacks on Jameis Winston and 11 QB hits. So, they watch tape. Andy Reid's no slouch in the film room. They know where the weaknesses are. The Texans' offensive line. Chris Jones is going to be poised to eat. The one thing that we have in our back pocket to stop him, and this is one of our big ways to win for me, we keep the offensive line the same way it was last week. Now, last week's performance wasn't necessarily the best thing to have ever happened. But Titus Howard, 2 years ago, the last time we played the Chiefs, held Chris Jones to his lowest season output the entire year. It was also Titus Howard's best game of the season. That was Davis Mills starting that whole year. And I think we ended up losing that game 27-24 off of a walk-off touchdown from Pat Mahomes to Travis Kelce. But Davis Mills had 2-3 passing touchdowns and I think ran for a 17-yard touchdown, something like that. Maybe 2 touchdowns and 1 run on the ground. But we need Titus Howard to be playing left guard like he was last week, like he was that game against Chris Jones. Lock him down. Don't let him fucking destroy you. And then have Blake Fisher at right tackle because Karlaftis isn't necessarily taken off, I guess, like the way they thought he might. And I don't even know the other edge rusher. That's kind of a problem. I think it's Mike Dana, if I remember correctly. But
maybe
I think it's either Dana or Omenahu or something. I can't remember. I think it might be Omenahu, former 49er and Texan. But this is a Kansas City Chiefs team that has looked very beatable for most of the year and has escaped losses. And escaped is the perfect word for several of these games. They block a field goal to prevent losing to the Broncos. They doink a field goal off an upright to avoid losing to another division opponent. 2 or 3 games are decided by a pass interference call. 1 good, 1 bad, 1 no call. They have a lot of luck, and they have a lot of the ball bouncing right and not the ball bouncing wrong. You're not just playing the Kansas City Chiefs. You're playing a team that has been on a roll for the last 3 years and is excruciatingly well coached. The problem is, will the Texans be able to live up to the moment? Will CJ Stroud and the offensive line be able to work cohesively and find open receivers? Will Nico Collins be able to get separation on Trent McDuffie? Probably. I'm not going to lie to you. He's got a good 6 inches on Trent McDuffie. So should be able to at least out-jump him in theory. I'm not a doctor. But ways to win, you get Chris Jones taken care of. You lock down the running game the way you did against the Dolphins, and you put it entirely on Patrick Mahomes' shoulder to beat you. And then you send Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., and the rest of the defensive line, which is number 2 in the league in sacks, to go have a field day. And you hope that can work. And you send Danico Autry and all these other guys who have played well for you this season, and you just let them do their damn thing. Send some pressure periodically. Mahomes is going to make some mistakes this year. That's just who he is this year. Harrison Butker's not looked great. Their kicking game looked better before he came back. That dude didn't miss a single field goal. Whatever his name was. Wright, I think it was his name. A lot of people are very, very heavy on favoriting the Chiefs in this game. And probably for some good reason, based on how shitty the offense for the Texans has looked at times. But the Chiefs' offense realistically has looked just as shitty. They just end up with W's, and that kind of covers up a lot of pain and insufficiencies. I say all that to say, I have the Texans winning this game. I have it as an ugly game. I have it 17-16 Houston. Because this Texans defense is playing hot. Derek Stingley's playing really well. Kamari Lassiter's playing well. And Kalen Bullock is playing well. I didn't hear Jimmy Ward's name at all last week, and that's a pretty good sign because usually he's knocking out our own players or fucking somebody up and causing hell penalties. So I think we'll do enough to get the job done. Again, it'll kind of be on brand for the 2024-25 Texans. Ugly W. But yeah, that's pretty much enough out of me. Isaiah, what do you have to say?
Fuck the Chiefs. Fuck the Texans. Perfect ideal game. They tie. And yeah.
Perfect ideal game. They tie. Oh, God.
Patrick Mahomes looking like a pogo stick out there, jumping around and got the hurt leg.
Yeah,
he is the almighty great Mahomo is going to play.
Yeah.
So we'll have to
full participation at practice all week after a high ankle sprain.
Yep. Just like his, playoff run for a Super Bowl with a high ankle sprain. Yeah.
Didn't he run for a lot of yards that time? I feel like they just say he's hurt, and it just builds a narrative that he's a badass. I can't imagine. There are whole ass grown men in the NFL who get a high ankle sprain and miss 5 weeks. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, I don't really have much to say about it, honestly. I think that it's going to be an ugly game. I mean, like you said, I think that Patrick Mahomes and CJ Stroud have both been having a lot dirtier seasons than we expected them to. Now, unfortunately, CJ Stroud doesn't have the, delightfulness of the refs to call back every pick he throws almost. So, unfortunately, he doesn't have that up his sleeve. But it's going to be an interesting game. I really don't think that this is going to be a high-scoring one, like you said. I think it might be in the teens for both teams. Maybe somebody gets 21 points, but I think it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
But it's the Chiefs, so,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Last week was the first game they won by double digits this season.
They didn't score over 30 though, did they?
No. 21.
I think they're like one of 3 teams this season that have not scored over 30.
That fits. That's about on brand.
Yep. Ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, we beat the Bills earlier this year, and they had their full complement of weapons. Josh Allen just played like shit. I think he only completed like 9 passes on 30 attempts or some shit. And like it's entirely possible that we can actually flabbergast Patrick Mahomes this week. It just depends on how much complimentary football we get out of the Texans is going to determine how much the chance of winning here and the penalties. But score prediction? You said in the teens.
18-13. I'm gonna go 18-13. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Curtis. The almighty Mahomo takes this one.
Yep. And a total of 31-point game.
Now you know what? Texans win. Just so the almighty Mahomo can beat them in the playoffs.
I mean, definitely possible. Now that we're talking about the playoffs, what team in the playoff field is the least like what team do you think doesn't necessarily deserve to be there?
The Chiefs.
Damn, the 1 seed.
Yeah, the 1 seed that is literally scraping by opponents with their dark magic, and NFL. The refs flipping calls and different stuff. They're not a good team this year on offense. I mean, their defense is still solid, but they have not deserved to win most of the games that they've won, and I don't think they deserve to be up there.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say like the Chargers. I feel like the Chargers and the Broncos are pretty on the bubble for me. Like I could see the Broncos being one and done pretty easily. I could see the same thing with the Chargers. Hell, depending on how it shakes out, I could see the Ravens being one and done. If the playoffs ended today or started today, they're playing the Texans. I don't necessarily think they're one and done there. It might be just a favorable matchup for them, but I also know that we're pretty good at stopping Derrick Henry as of late. So, and we got the guy back who does that very well. So, again, I'm not necessarily afraid of the Ravens, but certain matchups, I think they would do very well. I think they'd beat the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos, the Steelers. I think they'd beat them, but they play this weekend. That's going to be a big game. This playoff field. I wouldn't mind somehow sneaking up to the 1 seed, or not the 1 seed, the 2 seed. I would not hate that at all. I don't know how we'd do it, but it's not off the table.
Is it not?
No, the 2 seed. We have the head-to-head over the Bills.
How many wins do y'all have?
9. They have 11.
I thought they had 12.
No, they're 11-3,
Yeah,
and the Chiefs are 13-1. Yeah, because there's a 2-game separation between them. The Chiefs are hoping that somehow the Patriots and the Jets can beat the Bills twice, but I'm not seeing that happening. I wouldn't mind. I guess realistically, the 3rd seed is up for grabs because the Steelers and the Ravens are playing each other this week. They'll flop, and if we have the head-to-head against the Ravens next week, then we could take the 3 seed. I'm hype as hell for that. That'd be dope. All right. You know what? You never know what can fucking happen. We'll see what happens. But the perfect world for me, we play like the Steelers round 1. Second round, we play like the Bills, or we play. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I guess either the Bills or the Chiefs, but I think we could get by either one of them. I just don't have a lot of faith in the offensive line to do much of in the way of helping that cause. Fucking offensive line. The Achilles heel of the entire AFC South.
We love our offensive lines in the AFC South.
We love them because we don't have one. Or they show up for like a week at a time and then go missing for weeks. Fuck. Well, I think this is a good spot to go and wrap it up, Isaiah. I appreciate you for coming on this evening and talking AFC South ball with me. Folks, I want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to watch us talk AFC South football. If we said anything that you agree with or don't agree with, let us know in the comments section. We love hearing from you. Hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to grow the channel and all of the CPN family channels. Third and Teal, That Real Texas Team Podcast, Unstabled, and Titans Takeaways for all of the AFC South needs. Most of all, be good people and go Texans.
Fuck the Colts.
It was never the Titans.
It was never the Titans. Yeah.